Hey friends, welcome back. So this one's been in the comments for months. Where can I actually get good weed legally? You asked for it and we finally did the research. Today we're ranking every single legal US state, coast to coast, based on quality, pricing, and availability, not just vibes or hype. We looked at what's actually on shelves, lab-tested flowers, freshness, consistency, and the little extras that make a local market great, or sometimes not so great. By the end, you'll know exactly which states have the best balance of value and quality, and which ones might look good on paper, but will drain your wallet faster than you can say half ounce of mids. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only. No endorsements, no sales, no recommendations to purchase. Alright, pack something fresh, roll something clean, and let's dive right in. Let's be honest, legal cannabis in the US is still the Wild West. Every state has its own rules, taxes, lab systems, and price floors. You can cross one border and find top shelf eighths at $30, then drive 40 miles and see the same strain for $65. For anyone who travels or anyone planning a cannabis vacation, it gets confusing fast. You hear stories about California Fire and Oregon Sun-Grown, but what's actually true in 2025? Is Colorado still king, or have the smaller, newer states quietly caught up? And then there's quality, not marketing quality, but real quality. Terpene retention, freshness, curing technique, and how clean it burns. These are the things that matter to consumers, and yet they rarely make the headline charts. This ranking matters because legalization isn't just about access. It's about consistency, transparency, and respect for the plant. The truth is, the best legal cannabis doesn't always come from the biggest market. Some smaller states have cleaner systems, better testing, and fresher rotation because they're not flooded with mega grow inventory. Others have fantastic flowers, but such high taxes that even locals hesitate to buy. So today we're cutting through the noise, breaking down where you can actually get the best experience for your dollar. We'll highlight the overperformers, the disappointments, and a few wild cards that surprised even the pros. Before we start ranking, let's break down how we measured things. This isn't a popularity contest, it's a mix of three real-world metrics. Quality. How good is the average product on shelves? We're looking at freshness, trichome density, terpene profile, trim quality, and overall experience. Basically, if you pick a random eighth, what are the odds it's actually great? Pricing and taxes, because no one likes paying $70 for dry flowers. We compared pre-tax and post-tax averages per gram, adjusted for inflation, using 2025 state reports and retail sampling data, availability and experience. How easy is it to actually buy it? We looked at store density, online menu accuracy, wait times, and product variety. Think of it like a restaurant rating. It's not just about the food, it's about value, access, and consistency. Now, a quick note on expectations. When we say ranking, we're comparing legal recreational states. That's California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Colorado, Michigan, Illinois, Massachusetts, Maine, Arizona, New Mexico, Montana, Alaska, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, Maryland, Delaware, Minnesota, and Ohio. Each state's score blends local lab data, pricing trends, and verified consumer reviews. We're not factoring underground markets or caregiver systems, just the fully legal retail experience. You'll also hear me talk about legacy culture, meaning how much the legal market respects the growers and traditions that built cannabis before legalization. In some states, the culture stayed intact. In others, it got drowned in corporate licensing fees. And finally, a word about subjectivity. Taste is personal. One person's perfect gas-heavy indica is another person's two-couch lock. So we rated based on average consumer satisfaction, not individual preference. Now that we've got our method clear, let's get into the good stuff. From the states that still have a few things to fix, to the ones setting the gold standard for legal weed. Number 24, Mississippi of the legal scene. Delaware brand new and still getting its sea legs. Delaware legalized in 2023, but retail is barely rolling out. The infrastructure's there, but supply's thin and prices are high, around $55 an eighth with limited strain variety. The good news? They're starting small with strict testing. Think of Delaware as the new kid still learning the ropes. Number 23, Ohio just joined the recreational map in 2025. Right now, it's in the awkward middle phase. Licenses approved, dispensaries opening, but inventory limited. Expect early stage medical crossover menus with mostly indoor hybrids. Pricing's high, freshness hit or miss. But give it a year. Ohio's cultivators have a serious Midwestern work ethic. Number 22, Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. And for now, about 10,000 grams of mids. The market's new, the taxes are heavy, and product diversity is still growing. However, micro growers are starting to shine. Expect much better flowers in 2026 once local craft cultivation matures. Number 21, Alaska underrated scenery, overpriced eighths. Alaska's weed isn't bad, it's just expensive. Between climate costs and logistics, even local outdoor is pricey. Expect $50 to $60 eighths that look great but feel dry from cold storage. Still, visiting a dispensary at midnight under the northern lights? Unforgettable. Number 20, Nevada Vegas weed is like Vegas. Food, flashy, fun, and overpriced. You're paying for the experience, not necessarily the cure. The flower's often machine trimmed and shelf aged, though the concentrated scene is top notch. Go for live resin or carts here, not flowers. Number 19, Illinois. Huge market, strong testing, but brutal taxes. Illinois has fantastic cultivators. Revolution, Aries, and Cresco put out solid work, yet by the time it hits retail, a $40 eighth turns into $75 at checkout. Locals rely heavily on sales or drive to Michigan. Number 18, New Jersey big potential, uneven execution. The flower's improved since 2023, but freshness still lags behind Western markets. Corporate operators dominate, so boutique options are limited. Edibles are solid though, especially nano-infused drinks. Expect high THC numbers, but not always flavor. Number 17, Connecticut think tiny California with training wheels. High testing standards, limited cultivators. The weed's fine, just expensive and sometimes generic, but the craft wave is coming. Connecticut's small batch indoor growers are quietly making some fire. Number 16, Maryland. Maryland's one of 2024's most improved markets. Great flower rotation, fair pricing, and a chill culture that embraces its DC neighbors' legacy growers. Not flashy, but reliable, especially for East Coast consumers tired of Jersey prices. Number 15, Massachusetts, still the New England heavyweight. Strong lab standards, wide strain selection, but the price per gram sits higher than average. However, when you find good Massachusetts flowers, think Happy Valley or Cultivate, it competes with the West Coast. Number 14, New York. Finally catching up. After a rocky rollout, New York's dispensaries are starting to feel normal. Some real craft flowers, some real duds. Prices hover around $50 per eighth, but freshness is hit or miss depending on the borough. The energy though, walking into a legal dispensary in Manhattan still feels surreal. Number 13, Vermont small farms, organic focus, and genuinely aromatic flowers. Vermont punches above its size. You'll find boutique sun-grown and eco-conscious indoor at reasonable prices. If they solve supply bottlenecks, this could easily be a top 10 market. Number 12, Rhode Island tiny state, tight quality control. Not much volume, but the flower is consistently decent. Prices are fair, and customer service is excellent. The vibe's very local farmers market meets dispensary. Number 11, Missouri, quietly one of the Midwest's strongest markets. Low prices, solid indoor, and a friendly culture. The variety's growing fast, from gas-heavy indicas to citrus sativas. Missouri shows what happens when you legalize with affordability in mind. Number 10, Arizona dry climate. Great indoor setups and consistent quality. Arizona doesn't get enough love. Their flower burns clean, terp preservation is solid, and pricing's mid-tier. Some fantastic hash rosin makers too. Number 9, Maine fresh, fragrant, and community-driven. Maine's legacy growers finally got legal space to shine. Expect strong terp profiles, organic soil, and fair pricing. Plus, locals actually know their strains. Conversations here feel like coffee shop chats, not sales pitches. Number 8, Michigan, the people's champion. Michigan's market is oversupplied, which means fantastic deals. You'll find $25 eighths of real craft quality and concentrates that rival top California brands. The downside, inconsistent trim and curing across brands. Still, the bang for buck is unbeatable. Number 7, Washington, still one of the most mature markets. Flower quality's solid hash is world class, but packaging can feel corporate. Prices remain reasonable and terpene labeling is excellent. If you like variety and data data-backed menus, Washington's your jam. Number 6, Colorado, the OG of legal weed. Still strong after a decade. Prices are among the best, quality's consistent, and the culture is authentic. The only knock, flower freshness can lag due to distribution volume, but Colorado remains the benchmark for balance. Number 5, Massachusetts, tie. Oregon could easily be number 1 on quality alone. The problem is oversupply. So many amazing flowers that prices crash and small growers struggle. But for consumers, heaven. You'll find $20 eighths of organic terp-heavy indoor. It's the West Coast version of a candy store. Number 4, California, still the trendsetter. California sets global standards for cultivation and innovation. The downside, taxes and inconsistency. You can buy mind-blowing flowers from boutique growers or dry 2-year-old corporate weed in the same block. Choose carefully and you'll see why Cali's still the capital. Number 3, New Mexico, the surprise finalist. New Mexico hit legalization with balance, fair taxes, accessible stores, and genuinely fresh flowers. Lots of sun-grown hybrid indoor with vibrant terps. Plus, local hash culture is thriving. Number 2, Maine, tie. Colorado, tie. Oregon, tie. All 3 continue to define clean, consumer-first markets with personality and fairness. Number 1, Washington.Oregon, shared crown. Oregon wins for raw flower quality. Washington wins for consistency and transparency. Together, they represent what legal cannabis should feel like: accessible, affordable, and authentic. Now, wherever you shop legally, a few universal lessons apply. Mistake number 1, chasing THC numbers. Stop picking based on 32% labels. Terpene balance and freshness matter more than raw potency. A well-cured 22% strain will usually outperform a dry 30% one. Mistake number 2, ignoring packaging dates. Always check harvest and package dates. Anything older than 6 to 8 months likely lost aroma and flavor. If it smells like hay, walk away. Mistake number 3, confusing brand reputation with quality. Some of the biggest names are co-packed or mass-produced. Ask the bud tender who actually grew it. Local cultivators often beat flashy multi-states. Mistake number 4, forgetting taxes. That $40 eighth might jump to $65 with excise, state, and local taxes, especially in Illinois or California. Budget smart. Mistake number 5, not storing flowers correctly. Keep it in airtight glass, away from light and heat. Skip plastic bags. A $2 humidity pack can save $50 worth of bud. Tip number 1, learn the local menu language. Every state uses slightly different labeling. Craft, micro, or sun-grown can mean different things. Tip number 2, talk to your bud tender seriously. Ask questions. They see what moves fast, what customers love, and what just looks good in jars. Tip number 3, support small growers. Corporate farms will survive. Craft cultivators rely on community. When you find something truly good, leave a review. It helps them stay alive in a crowded market. Tip number 4, try to concentrate where the flower lacks. Some states with disappointing flower run killer hash programs, like Nevada or Illinois. Lev resin, rosin, and diamonds travel better than bud anyway. Tip number 5, ask for terpene profiles, not just THC. Myrcene, limonene, caryophyllene, these are what shape your experience. If your bud tender doesn't know, that's a red flag. Tip number 6, buy small amounts until you trust a brand. There's no shame in trying a 1 gram pre-roll before committing to an ounce. Tip number 7, pay attention to growth methods. Sun-grown, living soil, indoor hydro, greenhouse, all produce different flavors and effects. Find your preference, then hunt it down. Tip number 8, follow your favorite growers on social media. Cannabis culture is still community driven. The best drops are often announced on Instagram days before they hit menus. Tip number 9, don't sleep on CBD-rich strains. High THC isn't always the goal. 1-to-1 ratios and low-dose blends can be incredible for daytime clarity or relaxation without sedation. Tip number 10, remember that legal doesn't always mean better. In many ways, legal weed is still catching up to the craft and consistency that legacy growers have been perfecting for decades. Respect the plant, support the people who know it best, and vote with your wallet. Let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about flower quality or taxes. The legal cannabis industry is at a crossroads. In some states, legalization opened doors for legacy growers, small farmers, and entrepreneurs who've spent their lives working with this plant. In others, corporate consolidation swept in before the ink dried on the legislation. You see it in pricing structures, states with low barriers to entry, like Oklahoma before it tightened rules, or Oregon during its Wild West phase, flooded markets with affordable, high-quality products. Consumers benefited. Growers, many struggled to survive. Meanwhile, states like Illinois and New York built systems that favor massive multi-state operators with deep pockets. Licensing fees in the hundreds of thousands, zoning restrictions, vertical integration requirements. This isn't inherently bad. It creates stability and funding, but it often locks out the very people who built cannabis culture in the first place. And then there's tax policy. Cannabis is taxed at rates no other agricultural product faces, sometimes 30 to 40% of retail price. Some of that funds education, social equity, and infrastructure. But in states where taxes hit too hard, the black market stays competitive. Let's talk about quality testing too. Every state has labs, but standards vary wildly. California's testing caught pesticides and mold that would have passed in other markets. Michigan's clean testing reputation became a selling point. Meanwhile, some states test for potency but skip contaminants altogether. This matters because cannabis is medicine for millions of people. Veterans with PTSD, cancer patients managing nausea, chronic pain sufferers seeking relief without opioids. Inconsistent quality isn't just a bummer, it's a health issue. There's also the question of equity. Many states promised that legalization would repair harm done by the war on drugs, especially in black and brown communities hit hardest by criminalization. Some delivered social equity programs, expungement initiatives, reinvestment funds. Others barely moved the needle. And finally, the environmental angle. Indoor cannabis cultivation is energy intensive. Outdoor grows use less power but require more water. States like Oregon and California are starting to ask hard questions about sustainability. How do we grow great weed without draining rivers or running diesel generators 24/7? These aren't easy problems, but they're the ones that'll define whether legal cannabis becomes a force for good, or just another industry optimized for profit over people. The states that get it right, the ones balancing access, quality, fairness, and culture, those are the ones worth celebrating. And that's part of why this ranking matters. We're not just talking about where to buy good weed, we're talking about which markets are building something better. One more thing before we wrap. This ranking isn't static. Cannabis markets move fast. Ohio and Minnesota are new. Give them 2 years and they'll look completely different. Illinois could drop taxes and shoot up the list. Nevada could fix its flower game. Delaware might surprise everyone. Federal legalization, if it happens, will reshape everything. Interstate commerce, national brands, FDA oversight, banking reform. The landscape will change overnight, and growers are always innovating. New strains, better curing methods, sustainable practices, terpene preservation tech. The bar keeps rising. What's great today might be the baseline tomorrow. Consumer education is improving too. 5 years ago, most people thought weed was just indica or sativa. Now people ask about lineage, terpenes, grow methods, and cannabinoid ratios. As buyers get smarter, markets get better. So if you're in a state that ranks low right now, don't lose hope. Push for better policies, support local growers, demand transparency, leave thoughtful reviews. Legal cannabis is still young. There's time to get it right. All right, friends, that's the full breakdown. 24 states ranked coast to coast based on quality, pricing, and what actually matters to real consumers. If you're in Oregon or Washington, you're living in cannabis paradise. Enjoy it and support the small growers keeping it real. If you're in Illinois or Nevada, lean into concentration and hunt for deals. The flower game is improving, but it's not there yet. And if you're in one of the newer states like Ohio, Minnesota, or Delaware, be patient, stay curious, and remember that every mature market started exactly where you are now. This video isn't about hype or brand deals. It's about respect for the plant, respect for the growers, and respect for consumers who deserve transparency. Whether you're a daily user, a weekend warrior, or someone just curious about how legalization actually works, hopefully this gave you something useful. If you learned something new, hit that like button and drop a comment with your state and your honest take on the local scene. And if you've got a topic you want us to break down next, grower spotlights, strain deep dives, cultivation techniques, policy breakdowns, let us know. We're here to keep it real, keep it educational, and keep it grounded in what actually matters. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and as always, respect the plant. Peace.